Family. So the cowardice white supremacist Ben Shapiro go sit up here and put out a video saying that they need to pardon Derek Chauvin's cowardly white supremacist behind. The hell if they do need to pardon Derek Chauvin's cowardice white supremacist behind. And he went on to do a bunch of explaining that our brother George Floyd didn't die from that leg being on his neck, him not being able to breathe, and him being suffocated to death, but rather he died of a fentanyl overdose. And this is typically a mindset we see of white supremacists the world abroad, them trying to push out the false narrative and make the argument that George Floyd died of fentanyl overdose. He didn't die from Derek Chauvin's leg being on his neck and him being suffocated to death, which couldn't be further from the truth, and it's a total bald faced lie if you ask me. And then Elon Musk, cowardly white supremacist behind, had the nerve, the gall, and the audacity to put his 2 cents in it and chime in. And he retweeted this nonsense. And he went on to say also that this is something we need to look into. This is why I always say, family, that if you let a white supremacist talk long enough, their true colors will be revealed. They'll show you who they are. All will be revealed. And I ain't going to sit up here and say that this can't happen, family, them pardoning, the cowardice white supremacist Derek Chauvin, although it's highly improbable. But we got to remember at the end of the day, family, we in a system of racism, white supremacy, and we dealing with white supremacists. They'll take a win and put it on the column of white supremacy by any means necessary. They got to cheat, steal, rob, and do something criminal to get it, truth be told. This is why, truth be told, I don't rock with either party, the Democrats or the Republicans, because both are branches off the same tree and both practices anti-black racism. But if Derek Chauvin's cowardly white supremacist behind is, pardon, this will cause catastrophic ramifications, family. You'll have widespread civil unrest, looting, people burning down stuff, riots, innocent people being harmed on both sides. I'm talking white people and black people, and this will also put out the message to white supremacist society that it's okay to harm black people and you'll get away with it, and we in turn, the black community, especially the foundational black American community, we ain't gonna have that. So we're gonna be standing up for ourselves, giving pushback and resistance and fighting. And this might ultimately kick off that race war that we always heard, the rumblings of. This might be the straw that broke the camel's back, in that regard, and kick off a race war. So the price has got too high for white supremacist society, to keep on, having Derek Chauvin. You know what I mean? So I think in all actuality, I don't know if this will happen, but I don't put nothing past white supremacists, truth be told. And if you ask me, Donald Trump, along with Elon Musk, this Ben Shapiro ain't nothing more than white supremacists at the end of the day. Although Donald Trump, is now trying to mask his, anti-black hate, and because he's getting a lot of black support now, but it's killing him in the inside not to practice anti-black racism. And you Democrats don't go hopping in my comment section trying to big up the Democrats because I just said I ain't for neither party. Both of them practice anti-black racism, and neither one of them, produce anything, and I mean absolutely nothing for foundational black Americans. All they produce is symbolism, a bunch of talking, kicking the can down the street, and not producing anything lineage based for foundational black Americans. And my people, need to get our just due, our massive leg up in the form of reparations, right along with everything else we need and we entitled to as foundational black Americans for all our ancestors did. You know what I mean? And I think, family, that we need to, start seriously looking into us getting our own foundational black American political party, truth be told, at the end of the day, to where though we could push out our own needs and interests, and make sure that they being brought to the table, and properly brought to the limelight. We got to start, maybe looking at something that we could represent ourselves and bring our own needs and interests to the table. You know what I mean? But in closing, family, we got to remember that, whether people want to admit it or not, because some black people, they don't like to admit this, but, we're engaged in a war right now. And that war is between the system of white supremacy. We engaged in a war. So whether people want to admit that or not, we engaged in a war. And I'm hearing this narrative being pumped out by some black people that, if the cowardly white supremacist, Derek Chauvin is pardoned, we should just sit on our hands and not do absolutely nothing. And I don't stand with that. I say hell to the no to that. I say that we should get proactive. We should get pushback and resistance to, this injustice and oppression of our people, because if we sit back, and turn a blind eye and act like, sit on our hands, so to speak, if they let this cowardly Derek Chauvin white supremacist behind out of jail, what that'll do is that'll put out there in the public lexicon that it's okay to harm black people. and black people won't do nothing about it at the end of the day. Damn that. We should be out here giving pushback and resistance, and letting the world know that this won't be tolerated. This kind of mistreatment, misuse, and abuse on our people won't be tolerated in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But in closing, if they let him out of there, also, this will be the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of white people and black people's relations. Just my thoughts on the matter. Peace.